Don in London, good morning. It's November 30th, 2008. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. Alcohol, my substance, my behaviour. Workaholic during those 35 years, and worse. Every sort of ism you can possibly imagine as we get stretched out to the limits of either highs or lows of life, which is what alcohol did for me. On some occasions it made life so wonderful I could not imagine it better. And some occasions, or for long years, it made for clinical depression and worse, anxiety states and not being able to see the truth of life. So at the extremes of highs and lows, we probably are burning out one way or another. And what makes life work for me these days is just trying to find a balance in each one day. To do more than that is to wish for, or go back to history. And wishing for a better understanding of now only really comes from being here in the now. And I've mentioned books by Eckhart Tolle, Practicing the Power of Now, as much as any, which helped me keep on an even keel. But more than anything, I think going to fellowship meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous helps me more than I can possibly ever imagine. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And one of the things which was emphasised when I went to a meeting last night is something that happened then in the morning as well. It's all to do with anonymity and giving people a fair go to try and find their own truth of living without drink. It's gossip and stuff associated with sharing information about other people, and anonymity is there to provide sanctuary for a person to find their internal truth, if you like. Not necessarily to share it at an AA meeting, but often people share things which are very, very deep and very personal and not for public consumption. So the idea of anonymity being a sanctuary is on the top of my list of things which help people find a way through from painful times into less painful times, and maybe happy moments and days and weeks and months. And we can't guarantee anything, but one of the things which is absolutely true of AA, and some people get worried about it, is that people don't often get the message straight away. You know, there are a few who, as they say in chapter 5, rarely have we seen a person fail if they thoroughly follow the path. Now, if you're an alcoholic, raging at the world, or absolutely out of it, how on earth can you get to a place of sanity very quickly? And the answer is we can't, and you know, it's a daily trudge, if you like, towards a bit more sobriety. And some of us were slipping and sliding before we even got halfway up a road. I know I did. For my first meeting, I went straight to the pub after and had a pint of beer just to steady my nerves, because it was nerve-wracking finding a bunch of people in a room all sober talking about how to make life work. Anyway, coming on to As Bill Sees It, one of the books of AA. Bill Wilson was one of the co-founders. He talks on page 299 about anonymity and sobriety. As the AA groups multiplied, so did anonymity problems. Enthusiastic over the spectacular recovery of a brother alcoholic, we'd sometimes discuss those intimate and harrowing aspects of his case meant for his sponsor's ears alone. The aggrieved victim would then rightly declare that his trust had been broken. When such stories go into circulation outside of AA, the loss of confidence in our anonymity promise was severe. It frequently turned people from us. Clearly, every AA member's name and story too had to be confidential if he wished. We now fully realise that 100% personal anonymity before the public is just as vital to the life of AA as 100% sobriety is to the life of each and every member. This is not the counsel of fear, it is the prudent voice of long experience. And part of the prudent voice of long experience does change through time, and some of us feel the need to share our experience, strength and hope of what is helping us, and we need not share specifics about anybody. And that confidentiality and anonymity is sacred if we're going to help people make it through to sobriety. But some of us do share our stories simply because that's our way. And if people didn't know what the fellowship did and how it may work, it becomes mystical. And it needs to be debunked. There's nothing mystical, really, about Alcoholics Anonymous. It's just a bunch of people trying to find sobriety on a daily basis. And the way we do that is to find truth. And the painful path of truth means that we have to acknowledge every asset we have and every liability we have and what we've done about it. And those 12 steps of AA, from admitting we are powerless over alcohol and life had become unmanageable, I'll just do it very quickly. Step 2, sort a higher power which would return us to sanity. Step 3, let go and let God. Step 4, do a moral inventory, the good and bad of us. Then step 5, share it with another person. Step 6, see what our defects are, doing too much of the wrong thing, like fear, brave-facing and ego. Step 7 is about Step 7 is shortcomings, not doing enough of the good things in life for me, which is courage, faith and confidence to carry on. Step 8, making a list of amends and being willing to do them. That's 2 parts in there. Step 9 is making amends where it's not going to harm or injure other people, and maybe ourselves to an extent. And step 10 is about continuing to take personal inventory, so we know what is going right and wrong in the day. Step 11, which is where we are in the month of November, prayer and meditation to get a better conscious contact with whatever it is we see as our higher power. And for me that is family, community, civilization, society, and being a part of and finding the truth of life. And then step 12 is simply sharing the message to other people who indeed need it. And it's the spiritual part of this program which really works. And for me, the spiritual is about truth. So anonymity, sanctuary, truth, spiritual. That's what works for me. And slipping, people slip very easily off the path of sobriety if they go it alone. And how many times did I try to do it on willpower? Go it alone and find that I was back in the off licence, back in the bar, back with a drink. And it says here in the 24-hour day book, which is not AA approved, it's just somebody's writing from that as an AA member. We have slips in AA. It has been said these are not slips but premeditated drunks, because we have to think about taking a drink before we actually take one. The thought always comes before the act. It is suggested that people should always get in touch with an AA member before taking that first drink. The failure to do so makes it probable that they have decided to drink anyway. And yet the thoughts that come before taking a drink are often largely subconscious. People usually don't know consciously what made them do it. Therefore the common practice is to call these things slips. Am I on guard against wrongdoing or wrong thinking? And for me, I think a lot of that is about not acknowledging my feelings, because if I actually work out what my feelings are, no, not work them out, but just acknowledge what are all these things I'm feeling. Is it anger, frustration, love, hate, you name it, joy, sadness, all of those marvellous emotions that we have. I suppressed them for so long, taking the edge off. I didn't really know what they were until they hit me inside again with a sober head. And I had to start learning, where is the balance in all of this? Why am I enraged by a small action by another person? And the answer is 35 years of build-up makes even a small thing seem so big we can't make sense of it. So what have I learned over the last month in Fellowship of AA? We should never say never about anything. We should never. It's better to say never about anything and everything. To take life on the chin, really, and to be able to see it as best we can with our eyes and our full senses working as best they can. If we do that, we have I suppose, 50% or more chance of enjoying the day we have, not being stuck in the past and worried, and not overly concerned about the future, which is yet to materialise. And if we open ourselves up to the universe in this one day, that is to the possibilities beyond our own limited thinking, because it is limited. We need more information all the time, then we have a better go. So prayer and meditation for me, even though I don't have an understanding of God like most people, mine comes from nature and providence, and is about the good of good living. And the spiritual connection, very simply, a day at a time, seeing reality as it is. And the tradition around anonymity, well, my view is quite simple. Anonymity is a personal understanding, and we need to respect that always. Anonymity affords sanctuary to find that truth of ourselves on a daily basis, and long may it be so.